guys, the way that China just clapped back, oh my gosh, the way that China just clapped back. So TikTok is up in arms right now over the luxury brands that the US, like Dior, Louis Vuitton, probably like Michael Kors. I don't know some of the luxury brands out there. I don't buy stuff like that. I don't waste my no. I like to buy plane tickets. I like to invest in my business, and I like to invest in traveling. I don't buy stuff like that. But the way that TikTok is in an uproar right now over China clapping back at the US, and they said a phrase that I've been saying on this channel, y'all. Listen. The Chinese said, this guy made a video. You're about to hear it. You're going to want to listen to the end. I'm going to play it for you. We're going to listen to the audio together, not the video. We're going to listen to the audio so that you can hear it because it's hilarious. This Chinese man said, China's been around for 5,000 years. We existed before America. We're going to be just fine. Because this American lady was interviewing him. And she was like, oh, this is really going to mess up your economy. This is going to be really, really bad for you. And I got no stake in the game. I'm just watching, sipping my tea. Actually, coffee, because I don't really drink tea that often. I'm about to be sipping coffee this morning. I don't have no stake in it. I'm pro living your best life in Africa, living your dream life abroad. I could care either way. China, America, either one to me treats African and black people in a strange way. I'll put it like that. But at the end of the day, from their perspective and empathizing with them, they're right. They're right, y'all. And they just exposed the whole luxury market in America and France, technically, because France does a lot of that stuff. These same bags that these little teenagers, these 20-year-olds be going out getting, spending hundreds of dollars on. I remember being a teenager doing that. Got my first job. I was so happy to go buy a $300 bag. Girl, what? Not smart. Not smart. Should have bought some stocks. My brain wasn't there, y'all, okay? My brain's here now, though. Praise the Most High. All praises. But listen, the way that China just exposed the whole luxury industry, everybody's on TikTok, Americans and Chinese alike. Americans are like, yeah, I'm gonna have to start shopping over there in the summers. So you know how typically people in America will go to Miami for the summer and be like, oh, that's my vacation. No, they said they about to be hopping over to China in the summer. China's government had announced that they're allowing people from America to come over there 280 hours for free, visa free, 280 hours just to shop. I said, this is funny. What we are witnessing is funny. Like, y'all need to enjoy this process and praise the Most High Yah while you're at it, because you can't make this stuff up. You literally cannot make this up. I can't believe it. I log onto the app this beautiful morning and they're up in arms, okay? I'm not even on TikTok. So we're listening to a YouTuber, an African sister, her YouTube channel. And she found all these TikToks. I guess, y'all, go check out TikTok. I'm not about to be on that app. I don't be on TikTok all like that. But that compilation she just did, oh my, let's go listen to it. Let's go listen, because it's very funny, okay? You're gonna see what I'm talking about.
China and cost only $5. They just add a logo in France and charge you 10 to 40 times the price. Close your eyes. If your Chanel cosmetics says made in China, will it feel cheaper? It's not about quality, it's about brand washing. Interesting fact, who makes Chanel cosmetics? 42% are crafted by Chinese artisans. We don't do cheap goods, we do understand luxury.
Yes, and as I finished watching, I was scrolling, I saw this one as well.
The problem is that in this scenario, to use your metaphor, the US has the bigger gun. And so China ends up having more to lose from this trade war, doesn't it? You know, it can't sustain the loss of 15% of its export market, i.e. what you export to the US.
Not at all. China is fully prepared to fight to the very end, because the world is big enough that the United States is not the totality of the market in the world. So if the United States wants to go in that direction of completely shutting itself out of the China market, be my guest.
Yeah, and China will lose the US market, which, as I've said, is 15%.
We don't care. We don't. We don't care. China has been here for 5,000 years. Most of the time, there was no United States, and we survived. And if the United States wants to bully China, we will deal with the situation without the United States. And we expect to survive for another 5,000 years.
We are listening to Priscilla B's channel, by the way. Priscilla Boy, PriscillaBoye. Priscilla Boy, okay? China, this is like trending right now. China is exposing the luxury goods industry. And everybody knew this, but we're in a global recession. I tell my people on my Instagram, on Tiffy G Wright's marketing firm all the time, like if your business is a nice to have, you're going out of business. If your business is not a must-have or positioned as an emergent must-have solution, you're not going to have a business in this economy, period. And so luxury brands are going to be feeling that. They're going to have the choice. I think a lot of them are going to decrease sales exponentially, which is good. A lot of these luxury brands are into heavy occult worship out there in France, let's be honest. They're into some deep, crazy stuff. If y'all don't know, y'all should probably go research it, because I'm not about to go and tell you and go back. Y'all got to start doing some research. We got to work together here. We got to see eye to eye. Y'all got to put in some of the work. But this just shows you that times, have we ever lived in a time like this? So everybody's saying, oh, fear-mongering tactics. Have you ever lived in a time like this? I know some of y'all, if y'all didn't have your grandparents in your life, your parents, then you may not know what life was like prior to you being born. But I grew up around my parents, my grandparents, that would tell me how the U.S. was before these times. And so when these things are happening and we're seeing, oh snap, this is a complete 360 from what life in America was, how people used to think about America. Everybody used to bow down. China is standing up and saying, yeah, you can bully all you want, but we don't really care. And so I'm here as your little news reporter today at Journey With Us. I'm not here as somebody, I don't have a stake in either side of the game, to be quite honest. I am an African American living in Africa, and that's period. So I don't plan on living in China either way. I know we probably get some goods out here in Mauritius from China, not as much as the U.S., but maybe they'll start increasing the goods that they get from China. Who knows? We'll see where this time takes us. But there's even more. Let's we gotta go. There's some more I want y'all to hear, because this is very interesting. Again, I was talking about this on Tiffy G Wrights. If you do not follow me on Instagram at Tiffy G Wrights, and you are a business owner, you probably want to be there, because my clients and I, we are thriving in a global recession for this specific reason, because we are positioning our offers as emergency solutions, not nice to haves. If your business comes across as nice to have in this economy, you want to pivot this week. I'm not even trying to be funny. You want to pivot this week, because the amount of peers in the industry that I've seen go out of business this year and last year alone tells me that most small businesses are not going to be operational. This is why I work with finance firms. Finance firms are a must in all seasons. That's why I'm a financial copywriter. But let's keep listening. We're going to keep listening to this video by Priscilla Boy.
They didn't lie. But anywho, let's get into what people had to say.
I love what China doing. Keep on exposing these big brands. I just saw a video of this lady saying that, Lululemon, those leggings that y'all are paying $100 for, $5-6 over there. Like, they so petty, because now the suppliers are saying, hey, y'all can just come to us directly. You ain't even got to do all that. Don't go to Alibaba. You come right to us. And those wedding bands that y'all are paying thousands of dollars for, you can get that same wedding band for $2. And he really think he's doing something with these tariffs. Like, you ain't doing nothing but just exposing yourself and exposing this country. Like, this back and forth mess that he's doing, he's just causing such a big mess. And you can tell that they're getting scared now, because now all of a sudden they are saying, hey, well, you know what? It's not going to be on electronics anymore. Not on electronics, because they saw that Apple went over there and took them phones and flew them back over here. They said, oh, not us. I hope that this is the end of the whole knockoffs conversation. Like, it's all coming from the same production line.
So the next time you think you're finna go into a Hermes, or however you say that shit, LV store, and get one of them bags, just remember China just came out and said that they've been making the bags for the U.S. Huh? What? Not the designer. Not the designer that these young people be selling their soul, their integrity, and their morals for. So you mean to tell me the bags that they overcharging in the U.S. stores like LV, Prada, Gucci, Christian Dior. Remember that shit came out just a few years ago. Yeah, them bags being made in China by the same people. By the same people. People that pay these prices. Are y'all okay right now?
I don't know. Y'all okay right now? Like, hey, y'all, let me know if you're okay. I know a lot of you on this channel, you guys are very aware and awake. Y'all don't even invest in this stuff. But it just shows you, all you gotta do is give stuff time. All things come to the light, right? Like, all you gotta do is give stuff time, because the people, they're not happy about this. It's like, cities, nah, that's not, So TikTok is up in arms right now. This is gonna continue to hit headlines this week. Watch, this is gonna be one of the main topics. The fact that China is now spilling the beans, spilling the tea. And it goes to show, like, don't make threats that you can't keep good on. Don't make threats when you know you're not in the right. Don't do stuff like that. Don't do stuff like that. And you gotta treat people right. You have to treat people right. America, the US doesn't necessarily do that. How do we know? We can look at we're not even gonna bring up slavery. We don't have to even go back that far, to be honest. We can go back to the 50s. We can just go back right there with the Korean War, the Vietnam War. Then we can get to the Iraq War. Then we can talk about USAID that's secretly a snake in sheep's clothing. We can talk about a lot of stuff. And, China said it. They're like 5,000 years. We've been fine without you for 5,000 years. So I think we're going to be okay. And I think they are going to be okay. They're an ancient kingdom, They trade with the Swahili coast. They trade with the Madagascarian islands, which is where I'm at. They trade with people in Eastern Europe. They trade with BRICS. China is the C in BRICS. And so I think BRICS is going to be okay. I don't know why Americans don't understand this, or Westerners, but America was just created in 1776. America prior to that time was run by Native Americans who had worshipped all these various different deities. They wasn't really doing no heavy trade the way that the Swahili coast was, the way that certain trade was happening throughout Africa. They were over there doing their thing, and we were over here doing our thing, period. And so nobody's gonna miss America when it's functionally gone, or when it's functionally not as powerful as it's been, Again, I tell you guys on this channel, 4% of humanity lives in America. The other 96% of humans live in the southeastern hemisphere. Obviously a few in Europe as well. But the bulk of humanity lives in Africa and India, just to be honest. Africa, India, and China. Let's just be real. And so these are interesting, trying times, depending on what side you're on. And I'm kind of speechless, to be honest. I'm kind of like, this is going to hit trending news, though. This is really going to hit, as well as Niger officially dropped French as their official language. Things are shaking up. People are waking up and seeing the West and all of their little allies and half friends, or whatever they like to call each other now, close cousin, neighbors. People ain't really feeling that anymore. People aren't feeling that, They're just not feeling that. People are waking up. People are seeing, okay, you know what? I could live in the global south and have a better cost of living. Oh, I could just go get that from China real quick and have a better cost of living. Oh, I don't have to be broke. At this rate, being broke and doing what the West wants me to do is a choice. Let's be honest. Being broke is a choice when you stay in that society and believe the things that they tell you. Because at the end of the day, like China said, that's not the reality. These people getting this from us. These people, they don't even make that stuff. And I know that to be true. Certain nations of people don't actually like working. I'll put it like that. We'll just put it like that. We're going to wrap this up. This is the end of the video. But let me know what you think. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you learned something new. Share this with every American so that the luxury brands industry can be exposed. I'm going to drop her video down below. It's so good. And once you watch it, YouTube's probably going to cater your algorithm to more content like that. This is how we see these videos, because our algorithm is catered to certain types of content. So yeah, shalom, shalom, be blessed. And I don't know. Let's see what else happens this week.